Ask Santa anything. Tonight, you have the opportunity to ask Santa any question you want and learn everything and anything about him or the North Pole. All you have to do is type in the comments, but make sure you include your name and your age, anything you would like to ask Santa. So now let's meet the man of the hour, our very own St. Nicholas, Pure Noel, Father Christmas, our very special Santa Claus.
Oh, Merry Christmas, kids. Well, thanks for tuning in to MCTV. I sure am happy to be here. Mrs. Claus really wanted to come tonight, but she decided to stay back at the North Pole and keep things going. We got a lot of elves working. We are behind this year on a few things, but we got about 2 weeks left. We're gonna do our best. We're gonna have a good year, and I want to thank everyone for being real good this year too.
So, Santa, you mentioned all the elves are busy working. How many elves do you have at the North Pole with you?
886. Yeah, and they're all good workers except for Hermie. He doesn't want to make toys. He wants to be a dentist. I can't figure it out. But we'll let him be. He always makes me ask the kids to brush their teeth, and I guess it works good that way.
So if you wanted to become an elf, how do I become an elf? Can I live at the North Pole with you, Santa?
Yeah. That there's different kinds of elves around the world. The ones that migrate up to the North Pole, they're about 2 foot high. Some of them live to be pretty. They got a lot of years on them. There's let's see, old Zach up there. He's 640 some years old, but I don't know if you can become an elf. I think God just makes little elves here and there around the world, and then they feel real comfortable living amongst themselves at the North Pole.
So you don't have a shortage of elves up there with all these elves on the shelf that keeps popping up down here?
Well, those guys are different. We could have a long discussion about Elf on the Shelf, but the elves that work for old Santa, they're workers. We work, 6 days a week. They get Sunday off. They work hard. Elf on the Shelf, totally different species.
So your elves aren't quite so mischievous?
No, my elves are good workers. Yeah, they mine pretty well, and they, most of them they work for cookies and just making people happy.
Well, we have Brandy Brown says, Kennedy is watching from Midland. Thank you for our elf, Freddie.
You're welcome. You take good care of Freddie, all right? You can keep him as long as you want. Yeah.
And Todd just said, hi, Santa.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for calling in. I'll see you again Christmas Eve. And don't forget the cookies.
Speaking of cookies, what is your favorite kind of cookie?
Oh. All right. Ready? Now write this down. Christmas cookies. I love all Christmas cookies. Oh, one year I made a mistake and named a certain kind. That's all I got. And when you get thousands and thousands of cookies in one night, you got to have a little, little choice here and there.
Yep. Peyton was just asking, and he's 3 years old, and he wanted to know what your favorite cookie flavor is.
Yeah. Well, again, I mix it up. I go for all Christmas cookies. I love them. Thank you.
That pretty much covers all the bases, doesn't it, Santa?
You mean as far as cookies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. You'd be surprised how many cookies there are. That's in the United States. Over in England, I get mince pie, a little mince pie. Yeah. And then they got some little special drink they give me too. But cookies and milk are my favorite.
So, Elliot, who's 9 years old, what does Santa do during the summer?
Yeah. Well, I make toys, Elliot. Holy peppermint sticks. You know, we can't just wait till winter and when the snow flies and start making toys. Yeah, we work hard on toys. I've been making toys for thousands of, well, not thousands, you know, hundreds of years. Hey, Elliot, didn't I see you at the Tridge this year when I landed? I'm sure I did. I was real happy to see you. And thanks for being a good boy this year. So, did Elliot ask for anything?
Nope, he asked what you were doing during the summer. Do you get an opportunity to take a vacation though, Santa?
No, I don't like vacations. I like making toys.
So right after Christmas Day, you go right back to making toys.
Yeah,
huh?
I get a big nap and we design toys for the following year. I got a list here from Elliot. He's been working on a few things. Looks like he's hoping for a skateboard. You know, I can't promise anything, kids, but I will work hard. And I'm going to talk to Ezekiel. He's in charge of packing the sleigh this year, and we should be good. Yeah, I was good to Elliot last year. I'm going to be good to him this year. You see, he asked for some Minecraft, Elliot. Again, I'm good at toys. This electronic stuff, these electronic games, I'm a little behind on. But I will do my best. But if you get any electronic games, you just put a little bit of time on them. All right, don't spend all your time. They'll take all your time, and you won't be able to have fun doing other things. So you work on that, buddy. And thanks for calling.
All right, thank you. We have another question from Cecilia, and she's 11 months old. And she wants to know, what do you feed the elves?
Well, you know, they eat the four major food groups, you know, sugar, candy canes, syrup, and candy corn. That's where they eat. Yeah. They're good eaters.
That explains why they get so much work done.
Yeah, they're flying. They're going fast.
Well, maybe Hermie should become a dentist,
Yeah.
given that diet.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep those elves, you want to make sure they keep all their teeth.
Yeah, they have pretty good teeth. They're pretty healthy. They sleep good too. They go to bed on time.
Well, that's important with his hard work that they do.
Yeah, it sure is.
So, speaking of Mrs. Claus, how long have you two been married?
Oh my goodness! Oh, just we got married pretty early. So if you take a few years off my 1740, you'll be right in there. 1700 and something. She's a wonderful lady. She takes good care of Santa and she does a lot. Keeps me pretty organized. Keeps me going.
Well, that's good. I was hoping we were going to have another question, but I guess I can ask you. When I was a little girl, we never had a chimney. So how did you get in our house?
Oh, well, sometimes I use the chimney and sometimes I use the front door. Either way, I have these keys right here. Now, this one, if I were to use a chimney, this is a chimney expander. Chimneys aren't as big as they used to be. So this opens it up for me. And this is the key to all the front doors. This one this one works real good. And that's how I got in your house, little Mary Jo.
Oh,
Yep. It works really well. Usually I try to be real quiet. You know, Christmas Eve, the longest night of the year. Everyone remembers, man, it just takes forever for morning to come. Well, there's a reason for that too. You know, I have to slow all the clocks down, so I take my watch here, and it's working. It works, pretty good. And then if I get behind schedule, I just stop it. I get my work done, get back in the sleigh, and start that clock up again. Now that's why it takes so long for morning to come on Christmas morning.
well, Santa, I think we're going to take a short break and hopefully we'll get some more questions that come in.
All right. Let's enjoy our break, and we'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to MCTV's Ask Santa Anything. And I hope you all enjoyed your break and got your questions out there for us. Oh, here's a question, Santa, from Brandy. Which is your favorite reindeer?
Well, I would no longer pick a favorite reindeer than Mom would pick a favorite child. Excuse me. I love them all. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And there's thousands of other reindeer too. Oh, don't forget Rudolph. He's 84 this year. He was born in 1939. But I'll be bringing him. He wants to come. He'll be at your house. He happens to be the only boy reindeer. All the other reindeer are girls. Yeah. And the reason I use the girls, they're lighter, they're smaller. They have antlers at Christmas time. A lot of the boy reindeer lose their antlers. And the girls seem to know where they're going. They know how to get there. They don't get lost. But anyway, it works out good.
Well, Brandy also wants to know which one of those reindeers is the naughtiest.
Vixen.
Oh,
yeah,
you answered that quick.
She gets in trouble, yeah. Oh, but there's a new reindeer this year. I take him down to the Santa house. His name's Blizzard. Yeah, he was 6 months old. So, about 1st of April there, the elves come running in. Santa, there's a blizzard out there. And I go running out to the barn and I look, and there's a baby reindeer. Well, they meant there was a snowstorm. So anyways, I called the baby reindeer Blizzard. So that's how he got his name. And he's down the Santa house quite a bit this year.
Well, that's exciting. I think I might have seen some pictures of Blizzard. We have a question from Elliot.
Okay.
He would like to know if you know his elf, Coco.
I do. Coco's been around for a few years. Yeah, he's not the he- he's not the best worker. So I sent him out there to play with you and hang out with you there, Elliot.
Sorry about that. As you know, our studio is located in the Grace A. Dow Memorial Library, and they're getting ready to close for the night. But speaking of the library, Santa, what was the last book you read?
Oh my goodness. Well, I just read it. I've read it quite a few times. The Polar Express is my favorite. That's my favorite story. And I love the movie and I love the book. The author that wrote that book is from Michigan. And it's a beautiful story. It talks about how we believe in Santa Claus and the spirit of Christmas. And sometimes as we get older, some folks forget about the spirit of Christmas. And the spirit of Christmas is love and giving. And that's what Santa is.
Well, it looks like we have a question coming in. This is from Casper, age 6. And they want to know if you have a favorite Christmas carol.
Oh my goodness. Well, I like Santa's Coming to Town. That's what I sing around Christmas time. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. That's my favorite. Now we could all sing it together, but it turned out that I'd be doing a solo or a cappella. That's not going to work right now. Unless you want to join me, Mary Jo.
No, I
Not
don't
now.
think
All right.
our audience would appreciate it if I sang along with you.
All right.
And we got a question that came in from Chris. Santa, can he come visit you at the North Pole?
He sure can. It's located on Main Street right here in Midland. It's identical to the North Pole. I would love to have you there. As far as going to the real North Pole, it's kind of tough. There's not a real good way to get there, but you can go down the Santa House in Midland. You can see reindeer. You can ride the Polar Express train, and you can see the elves. It's a pretty good place. The real North Pole, that's probably the most beautiful place in the world. The stars are huge because there's no moisture in the air. And your depth perception's a little off. Everything seems closer because it's bigger. The sea, the water is deep blue, the most beautiful blue water you've ever seen. And the best part about the North Pole this time of year are the northern lights. They come in all different colors like the rainbow, and they shoot across the sky, and then they hold still, and they make noise. Some sound like a ghost, and some crackle like a fire. The North Pole is the most beautiful place in the world.
Those northern lights sound like they would be absolutely beautiful to see. I would love to see that.
Yeah, they would. They'd light the snow, the mountains of snow. Some of that snow and ice is 1,000 feet deep. But then by the sea, by the salt water, by the ocean, the Arctic Ocean, you can see the rocks because the salt water keeps washing the ice away.
Well,
But
Santa, we had sorry to interrupt you, but we had a question that popped in.
Oh, we'll
and
get that.
It's from Kennedy. How do I tell you my big brother is being naughty?
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I have I have a good understanding of what's going on. And I have my list here. I got all the names, so I got a list of good boys and girls. It's right here. Uh, it's written in Elfkin, but there's the names of all the good boys and girls right there. And I got a couple more of these lists, but they've all been a good bunch. Your brother being naughty, that's nothing. He's just testing the water, so to speak.
Well, that list doesn't look very long, Santa, but Kennedy wants to know if you have a favorite color of cookie to eat.
Yes, I do. I like, well, they're kind of off white with a red frosting. Oh, white and red. That's my cookie right there. But I eat them all. I like all cookies. They call me the cookie specialist.
Looks like we had another one that just popped in. Ellie, age 9, would like to know which reindeer is Santa's favorite.
Well, again, I will not have a favorite reindeer. I love them all. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen, and old Rudolph. Yeah, there's a lot of reindeer at the North Pole, not just the ones that pull the sleigh, but there's a lot of reindeer. They travel around the North Pole. They follow the Arctic Circle. They go round and round. And there's people that take care of the reindeer. It's not Santa and the elves, it's the Laplanders. And the reindeer are very special animals. They're the only deer species that can be domesticated. They pull sleighs, not just toy sleighs for Santa, but they can work. They can pull sleighs. Yeah. The funny thing about a reindeer is they can pull for 2 days straight without stopping. And each of them can average over 450 pounds. But then the funny thing is, then they have to sleep for 2 days. So you got to work it out with the reindeer.
That sounds like a scheduling issue.
It is. Yeah.
And we have another question that just popped in from Heather. I don't know if she wants me to announce her age, but she says she's 48 and wants to know what's your favorite ice cream.
Oh my goodness. That's I'm really fond of the peppermint. And I'll go for that vanilla anytime. But I think peppermint ice cream is probably my favorite. I hope she leaves me some, not by the fire. Leave it outside, up on the roof. It'll stay nice and hard that way.
And it looks like we just had another question for you. Elliot would like to know, how do you not get burned by the fire when you come down the chimney, Santa?
Yeah, good question, Elliot. So what I'd like is no fires. Listen, kids, no fires Christmas Eve, okay? Because that makes it really hard to get down there. I'm not that fast anymore. I'll just have to use my special key that I showed you earlier and go through the front door if there's a fire in there. Can't get this suit all singed up. Mrs. Claus would be mad. So that's how I don't get through the fire. Elliot's thinking, though.
Yep. And Sawyer would like to know, why do you deliver gifts at night and not during the day?
Well, Sawyer, it works better. There's no traffic, all the airports close down by midnight, and that's when I start taking off. And I can get around a lot faster. there's not much traffic up there. I can go from house to house, and it works really good. Um, I think, yeah, going during the day wouldn't be any fun at all. The reindeer know exactly where to go and where to land, and that's why we use all those beautiful Christmas lights too. Uh, I go around and I check the boys and girls, and I know how their houses are decorated or not decorated, and I get a good feel for it. So it's a lot easier flying at night. Yeah, you can ask Shelby about that. Yeah, she'll know.
Shelby will know, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Chris, age 38, would like to know what your favorite kind of cookie is.
Well, they're trying to get me to determine to actually say what my favorite cookie is. And that creates a problem because as soon as I say that, everyone's going to leave that same cookie out. And I'm going to have that same cookie house after house after house. And, delivering presents is a lot of work, and I burn a lot of good calories, and cookies keep me going. But I like a nice smorgasbord of Christmas cookies, not one special one.
So he's looking for variety. Well, Santa, I think we're going to take a quick break again, and we'll be right back soon.
All right, I'm going to go have a cookie.
Well, welcome back to the MCTV Ask Santa Anything. If you have some questions for Santa, you need to type them into the comment along with your age and your name, just like Ellie did. Ellie would like to know, how did you meet Mrs. Claus?
Oh, it was a heck of a snowstorm. Yeah, I only had 3 deer that night, and we were trying to get back to we're just actually starting out for the North Pole. And snow was blowing right against us. And we went, and we had to stop. We got snowed in. These 3 reindeer couldn't fly because there was too much weight in the sleigh, and there was only 3 of them. And so we kind of fell asleep, and when we woke up, we were covered in snow, and then we hear this chip, 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 and the elves dug us out of this big snowbank, and they took us in their house, and in the house was this beautiful Mrs. Claus. She was in there, and she made us the best chili you could ever imagine, and man, she's a wonderful lady, and we got married a few years after that because I kept in touch, of course, because I did. And that's how I met her.
So what is Mrs. Claus's Oh, I was going to ask you a question, but Sawyer's question just popped up. Sawyer liked Santa's reasoning for why he delivers at nighttime, and he says, "Thanks, Santa."
Why I do it? I mean,
Yep, you
understand.
answered that question, and he's thanking you for your answer.
Oh, well, good. That was Sawyer.
That was Sawyer.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, your bag that you use for all your toys, it sure doesn't seem big enough.
No, it's not. No, I have some reloading stations here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. No, this bag is just kind of like my man purse, you know. But the toys, they go in a big huge bag. If you've seen the Polar Express, they actually filmed that at the North Pole. You could see how big the bag is, and I have those in a lot of different states and in different countries around the world, and it takes a lot. And I used to deliver everything, sleigh and reindeer, and I still do a lot of that. But I get some help with some big cargo planes and the United States Air Force and in some of those big ships. They help Santa out a lot.
Well, it looks like we have a question coming in, and this one's from Abby, age 10. And Abby loves to read. She wants to know some of your favorite books, Santa.
Oh my goodness! Well, again, I told you my favorite one that's the Polar Express, and I know the night before Christmas I have a few of those around the house, so I'm always picking that up. Little Clement Moore, when he was little, he wrote that. That was a few years ago. I think it was 1822. Yeah, and I love that story, and that kind of is the legend of my legend in the United States. Now, there's other stories of Santa, books about Santa. He's different. He's the same spirit, but he's different in different countries. Uh, he has different names and he delivers at different times.
Well, thank you, Santa. And our next question is from Braxton, age 8. Santa, I'm a big Chicago Bear fan. Who's your favorite team?
Well, actually, right now I'm kind of rooting for the Buffalo Bills. So, but I'll root for your Chicago team too. I like them all. They're all good. I'm glad you have a favorite team, Braxton.
And Cooper wants to know if you name the elves yourself. And also, do you have an elf named Hank? Because that's their dog's name.
What's that name again?
Cooper wanted to know if you name the elves yourself.
Well, yeah, I name them. Yeah, well, pretty much. And then they all have their opinions too. But we don't get too many new elves because they live so long. But we did name Hermie, and we named Zekio, and we named Guido, and we named Gino. Those guys were from Italy. But yeah, we have quite a few. Yeah. And
Do you have one named Hank?
Hank? Yeah, we do. Hank. Yeah, he works in the truck department. He makes the little monster trucks. Yeah, and he does a good job. The radio control monster trucks. You want a good one, you guys go see Hank. He's a little crabby, but he's good. He's good at his work.
Just a little crabby, huh? Cecilia, 11 months old, wants to know if you were ever to have a baby, or have you always been the jolly guy with the white beard?
Well, I think I was a baby once, 1700 years ago, but I've I've always been jolly, and I like spreading the Christmas spirit. It's kind of hard to get Santa's actually a healthy outdoorsman. This red on my suit stands for the healthy outdoorsman, and the white stands for purity. Uh, Santa keeps a clean mind and a pure heart. So I'm glad you asked that. Mhm.
And Elliot wants to know what's your favorite color of Christmas lights.
Oh, well, we're seeing a lot of blue and white this year, and they do look pretty. The blue and white, I do like that. But then when I fly over and I see a solid green lit tree, I like that. And then I see a solid red lit tree, I like that. I think this year I like when they take a tree and they make it all the same color. I guess I'm not answering this question, which color is my favorite. I'm going to say green.
So you like the colored lights better than the white lights? I know that's quite a debate for some people.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I love the way they're mixed up. You wouldn't want to fly around the world seeing all white lights, and you wouldn't want to fly around seeing all green lights. I like each, and lighting is a tradition. It shows character of the family, and it's a great thing. Christmas lights to me are marvelous. They're a lot of work to put up, but it kind of displays the thoughts and the spirit of that family.
I agree with you there. We've talked about your favorite books and your favorite carols, but do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Elf. I love Elf. I just think that movie's great. I know I might not, it might not be agreeable to some moms and dads, but that's my favorite movie.
I know in one of the older movies they talked about does he sleep with his beard outside the blankets or underneath the blankets? Do you remember what movie that is?
I do. That was the original Miracle on 34th Street. And I know the fellow that wrote that line. His name was Charlie Howard. He was Macy's Day Parade Santa, and he worked. He was out there, and he knew Charlie knew what the real Santa was and how he acted and what he did. So he was a technical director on that movie, and that was Charlie's thought to put in there, does Santa sleep with his beard under the covers or on top of the covers?
So did they get it right, Santa?
I think they did.
I've seen that movie many, many times, but I have to admit, Elf really makes me laugh. It's one of my favorites as well.
Good.
So if you were to go back, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? That's going back a long ways,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
way back there. Well, back then I was, the Bishop of Myra, and I think things worked out for me. It's not like Santa did the right thing. I'm real proud of what Santa stands for, the spirit of love and giving. But it's not so much what that flesh and blood individual St. Nicholas did back then. It's what the people wished for and what they wanted in their lives. And they created the most well-known character in the world, which is Santa. And they created him again to stand for love and giving and spread that Christmas spirit. He's the same around the world in different countries. Different countries, same spirit.
Well, that's wonderful. And we have a question that came in from Brandy. Does Santa have any siblings?
Well, if you notice, in October every year, we have a family reunion here in Midland, and you can see all my cousins. Yeah, we go to the Santa house. We hang out Midland Center for the Arts. We go over uh, to the Great Hall. Um, this year we went down to Owasso to ride the Polar Express train, and of course they all like to go. All my cousins like to go to Frankenwood, but they love the Midland Santa house, and so they come here each year, and we have a nice family reunion. Hundreds of them.
Yep, that's always exciting to see in Midland. Well, I think it's time for us to take another short break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Oh.
Well, welcome back to the MCTV's Ask Santa Anything. And we're only going to be here a little bit longer. So if you have any questions, you need to ask them now. But I have a question for Santa. Because you know, one of my least favorite tasks of the year, of the season, is wrapping Christmas presents. Maybe it's because I wait until the very end and then it's always done in a rush. But does the North Pole have a gift wrapping department?
Yes, we do. We have a good gift wrapping department. Man, they just it works out good. A lot of times we use the same paper that the kids have at their house because that's what they like. You know, each family has its own special style of paper, and we have quite a warehouse up there with wrapping paper in it. And Sylvia's in charge of it, the elf, and she does a great job. We go through a lot of ribbon. Oh my gosh, ribbon after ribbon. We actually have a ribbon factory up there. It's a big wooden structure. It's about 100 feet long and 80 feet wide, and it's got big colored tanks where they dip each ribbon in, and it comes out. And sometimes they mix it together. But it's a beautiful wrapping place.
So they don't wait until the last minute like I do then.
No,
huh?
they don't wait like you do, Mary Jo. No, they get it done. Otherwise, we wouldn't make it.
Well, some nights I feel like that.
Yeah,
Well,
I know how you feel. Yeah.
We had a question from Jackson and Brantley and Carter and Kimberlyn. They said they love you, Santa.
Oh, that's wonderful. Santa loves them too. They've been so good. I can't wait to get to their house. They've been real good this year, and I was real good to them last year, and I'm going to be real good to them this year too.
Well, that's great, Santa.
Yeah.
And Eli, age 14, would like to know who your favorite elf is. And is it Buddy?
Well, everybody loves Buddy, but again, it's like the reindeer. I can't pick a favorite. It's like asking mom and dad who their favorite child is. We all get along up there. We each have our own ways, and personalities, and it's just like all your friends at school. They're all a little different, but you should love them all, like them all. They're all good. So that's the way we treat the elves.
Well, that's good that you don't have a favorite, Santa.
Yep.
I'm sure that could cause some problems if
I
that
only
ever
have
got
a
out.
favorite, Mrs. Claus.
And what is Mrs. Claus's first name? You always call her just Mrs. Claus.
Holly. Yeah. Her first name is Holly.
Well, that's like the perfect Christmas name.
It is. Yeah.
And does Mrs. Claus send out Christmas cards every year? Because I just finished that task this last weekend.
She wants to, but we're like a lot of other families. We don't always get them done or out. But they are fun. They are nice to get. And hard to send.
So if you have any questions for Santa, now's the time to type in your name and your age and ask him anything that you would like to know. So what do you think you're going to do this year after Christmas? You said you take a long nap. How long is that nap, Santa?
2 days.
2
That's
days.
long enough. Yeah. Kind of just like a reindeer. You work hard for 2 days and then you just rest for 2 days. But delivering those presents all the way around the world, you get wore out. But I don't deliver them all Christmas Eve. I deliver some the Feast of St. Nicholas Day, which is December 6th. I deliver some Christmas Eve like I do here. And I deliver some January 1st, like in Russia. And then when the wise men came, that was January 6th. That's when I deliver presents there in Spain. I know. Yeah. It gets a little, I got a good, with these new GPS on my sleigh and stuff. I don't have to remember everything. I just get in the sleigh and I just bingo, I'm there. But I get there.
Jackson, age 7, wants to know how many cookies Mrs. Claus makes each day.
Oh, well, she makes them by the batch. And I've seen as many as 10 batches come out of that oven within an hour. So she's a go-getter. She's doing a great job with the cookies. I can't do the math, Jackson. You can probably do it, but 10 batches and there's probably a dozen in each batch. So that's an hour. So, we're talking 120 cookies an hour. That's a lot. Yeah. We only have 886 elves and me and Mrs. Claus. So that's plenty.
So not all those cookies are just yours then.
No, I share with the elves. Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and Stephanie, age 46, wants to know how many letters do you get each year?
Oh, my goodness, Stephanie. I get thousands of letters. And Maynard the elf, he runs the post office up there. He gets them all. He makes sure that they're all read and organized. I read a lot of them. Mrs. Claus reads some of them. And together we do a list and we find out who's been good and who's not so good. But most everyone's good. And then we look at their list, see what they want. Not everyone, their Christmas list, they're not always asking for things. Some of them say, I want mommy to have this or dad to have that. And that makes Mrs. Claus and Santa real happy because we know the spirit of Christmas, the Santa spirit, is in their heart. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the spirit of Christmas. And it may not be a flesh and blood individual. It may be the spirit in mom's heart, dad's heart, brother's heart, sister's heart that's out there. And that's why Santa lives.
So you told us that you get some help delivering some packages, and then you get to split that up between different locations on different nights. But like on the big night, Christmas Eve, how do you manage to get to all those homes in just one night?
Well, like I was telling you earlier, we go through all these time zones. There's 24 time zones around the world. And so that means I have at least 24 hours for each night that I deliver the gifts. And there's times when I can't be at every house. So there might be a couple elves doing a little extra work for me. Someone with that large Santa spirit doing a little work for me. I see all the good kids. I make sure that all the children the good ones are taken care of, and they are. And like I showed you earlier, this little watch here, if I get behind, I just stop this watch, and then I get all my work done. And when I catch up, I start it back up, and off we go. It's a long night. You kids all know that.
Well, Brantley, age 6, wants to know what Santa. Oh, they're bound and determined to find out what your favorite cookie is.
I guess they are. I had so many of those questions, I could have answered all the Christmas cookies that I know, and I would have gotten them all. But Brandon, I'm not choosing a favorite one. I tell you, one year I know what cookie it was. I said it, and that's all I got. So, Christmas cookies. Oh, and let me tell you something else. When you're gonna leave treats out, what are you gonna leave for the reindeer? Not carrots, okay? Reindeer, their favorite treat, they'll eat a carrot if they have to. It's like me. But their favorite treat is raisins and apples. So give them a slice of apple or a few raisins. You'll make them real happy.
So that's their favorite treat.
Yes. Not mine. That's not, well, I'll have some too, but if they're not looking, I'll sneak a bite of the apple. I'd rather have a cookie.
So does that sleigh have some special brakes on that? Because it sometimes can be pretty icy on Christmas Eve. How do you stop between all the rooftops?
Oh, that's not a problem at all. Yeah, each roof most roofs have a slope on them. So you gotta come down just right. You don't want to land on the ridge. You want to hit the slope. So you just tunk, and then you want to glide right up to the chimney. It's an art.
Well, come on, boys and girls. We only have a few more minutes. And if you have any questions for Santa, now's the time to ask. We've got the big guy in the spotlight,
Oh, wow.
sort of like the hot seat.
Yeah, but I love it. I love the questions. I love to talk to the kids. Yeah. I could show them something here. Maybe. Where is it? Here it is. See this little book? I was asked what my favorite book is. Well, it's not this one, but this little book. Sometimes children, people, they need something special. It's not a toy. They need to ask a special question about someone that's maybe sick or maybe not with them anymore. And so as Santa, I can't promise anything because I really don't know how the elves are going to pack the sleigh and how everything's going to work out that night. I do my best to get them what they ask for, but if they have a special question about an individual, I'll write their name in the book, and they'll see me write it in there, and I will say a prayer for them. I tell them I will, and on my way home that night, I say a prayer, and that usually works out pretty good.
Well, that's nice, Santa. But I think our time's about up again this year.
Holy peppermint sticks, that was quick.
Yep. Oh, maybe one last question just might have snuck in right before we had to say goodbye.
All right, well, I'll talk real fast.
Well, Elliot wants to know, do you like nutcrackers? Because they do.
Yeah, I know Elliot does. They have them all over the place at their house. Yes, I love nutcrackers. They're made in Germany, or they're made in different places now, but they originated in Germany. They're made of linden wood, which in this area they call basswood for some reason, but it's a nice hard wood, and it works real good. It's easy to carve, and the nutcrackers come out real nice with linden wood. Yeah.
Do you have any nutcrackers over there at the Santa house?
Yeah, great big ones and little ones. We have some that are like 8 foot tall.
Wow.
3 of them. They're beautiful. I don't make a lot of because I'm pretty busy, but I did make those 3 big ones. Yeah.
Sounds like I need to come down and see you.
Yeah, you better get over there.
Well,
Yeah.
Santa, I think we're going to have to say goodbye this year. So do you have a special short little message you'd like to say to all the boys and girls before we say goodbye?
I would like to tell them Merry Christmas. Santa loves you. Merry Christmas, boys and girls.
Merry Christmas to you too, Santa. Thank you.
You're welcome.